and his name is Bak. Tune in to Guess Who's Bak with Chase Geiser, only at chasegeiser.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Chase Geiser. This is Guess Who's Bak on the Chase Geiser Network. Make sure you sign up and subscribe at chasegeiser.com, as well as follow us, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We are very, 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 very close to monetization. So please go to the Chase Geiser Network on YouTube. You can find a link in the bio on Real Chase Geiser on X. And you can also just click to watch live if you go to chasegeiser.com. There's a link right there in the hero banner of the website. I don't even know where to begin with what's going on tonight, Bak. It seems like the United States of America is completely compromised. We are a nation that is occupied, compromised, and controlled by our so-called allies who have ushered themselves into the United States of America within a Trojan horse. We've seen this before throughout history, of course, famously using the example of the Trojan horse, where everyone thinks everything's peaceful, you slide in, you sabotage, compromise, corrupt the legislation, and then before you know it, your entire nation is under the control and at the behest of someone who you thought was now an ally, someone who you thought had surrendered to you and all of your military might, who could not penetrate the walls of your nation direct on, aggressively, violently, and instead has opted to do so subversively. Here's a deeper critical read of Section 224 of the draft fiscal year 2027 NDAA, that's the National Defense Authorization Act, the U.S.-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. Okay, what's actually on paper? Well, this piece of legislation, which has yet to pass, directs the Secretary of Defense to designate an executive agent, a single official responsible for synchronizing cooperative efforts, including research, development, testing, evaluation, integration, and industrial cooperation. The operative verbs are broad and the statutory guardrails are thin. It extends collaboration beyond existing missile defense programs, Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow, into biotechnology, autonomous systems, AI, and cyber warfare. In other words, exactly the dual-use, hard-to-audit domains. Critically, it reaches into procurement, the shared production of weapons, and the linking of military systems and data, meaning integration at the supply chain and data layer, not just joint research and development. It's structurally sticky by design. The whole point, per a former State Department official, is to entrench the relationship so deep in America's own defense industrial base that it's impossible to root it out. Aid is a line item Congress can cut year to year. Industrial integration is far harder to reverse. The skeptical reading is that this deliberately converts a discretionary policy into a permanent fixture, reducing future Congress's leverage. It's an unprecedented depth of entanglement. One analyst's framing is that Section 224 would provide a higher level of military-industrial integration than the U.S. has with any other country in the world. More than with treaty allies and NATO. That raises a fair question: why the single closest industrial bond goes to a non-treaty partner with no mutual defense obligations attached. Leverage runs both ways, and possibly the wrong way. Critics argue it would force the U.S. military to integrate Israeli defense technologies into its own critical supply chain, giving Israel leverage over American defense priorities. Once foreign components and data sharing are baked into U.S. systems, a supplier gains influence over what the U.S. can build, sell, or export. Broad delegation with weak oversight. A synchronized all-cooperation mandate handed to one executive branch agent spanning classified domains like cyber and bio is the kind of open-ended authority that's easy to expand administratively and hard for Congress to monitor after the fact. The text describes coordination machinery, not transparency or reporting limits. The process insulates it from scrutiny. It's one provision inside a $1.15 trillion must-pass bill, and it's co-sponsored by both the Republican chair Mike Rogers and the senior Democrat Adam Smith. Bipartisan leadership backing on a vehicle nobody wants to tank is precisely how controversial riders survive, which is why opponents are forced into a strip-it-out amendment rather than a clean-up or downvote. The timing invites suspicion as well. It advances right after joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran triggered a 5-week war earlier in 2026, which is still ongoing. And Iran today has said that they're just done trying to negotiate. They've said that they're not even going to come to the table. And as polling shows growing opposition among Democrats and some Republicans to further military support for Israel. Locking in deeper ties at the moment public support is softening looks to critics like entrenchment ahead of a closing political window. It may quietly replace aid with something less reversible. Netanyahu has said he wants to end Israel's reliance on U.S. aid within a decade. Closer industrial cooperation rather than cash fits that goal. And the skeptical worry is that the U.S. trades a $3.8 billion a year transfer it can throttle for a structural integration and can't easily exit. So where the critical case overreaches, so you don't get caught flat, the viral merging the military's claim is semi-wrong, allegedly. It does not create a single force or a unified chain of command. That framing is easy to debunk and discredits the more serious objections above. It's still a draft, something to consider as well. It hasn't passed yet. The defender's framing is coherent on its own terms. The U.S. and Israel already co-develop weapons, both run advanced defense sectors and interoperability, NATO style. It's normal alliance behavior in that sense, not fusion. But the real debate is even the skeptical analysts concede is about how inseparable the two defense bases should become, not whether two armies become one. So basically we're in this position, Bak, where we are further developing and entrenching ourselves with Israel. In a time when everybody's being very critical, obviously, of this war with Iran, nobody from the government seems to be actually telling the truth about the reasons we're in this conflict, leaving everyone to wonder. The evangelicals on one side insist that the reason we're in this conflict is because Islam is evil and Judeo-Christian values, and Israel is our closest ally, and it's the only democracy in the region. That's the evangelical explanation. Meanwhile, the official government position is that Iran was on the verge of a nuclear weapon, which is something that's been claimed for at least 3 decades. And frankly, they probably already had one. So that seems to me to be just an excuse. Whereas the real reason is because we need to protect the petrodollar as it's collapsing. And we've talked on this show, Bak, time and time again about some of the infrastructure that is being established in order to guarantee or ensure the powers that be today are the leaders of the post-collapse infrastructure that is put into place or installed after this petrodollar does collapse, which seems to be inevitable. I think it's going to happen within the next 36 months to 10 years. It's hard to say exactly. I know it's a joke. I'm not somebody who's trying to say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week over and over again, but all of the behaviors of China, of Israel, of Ukraine, of Russia, Taiwan, Iran, the United States of America, all the behaviors seem to imply that our military-industrial complex, our deep state here in the United States of America, does indeed believe that the collapse of the petrodollar is imminent. Now, they're doing everything they can to delay it months, couple of years, so they can usher in this new central bank digital currency system. What are your thoughts, Bacchus?
When I was a younger Asian man, I would often sit and ponder what would be the exact event or moment that would collapse the United States empire. And if this piece of legislation passes, this is that exact moment. And we're going to cover tonight the total implications of what happens if this bill passes as is. It's much bigger than just Section 224, I believe, that pertains to Israel. Because if this piece of legislation passes, not only will it allow the Israel to wage total war in the Middle East, sucking every Abrahamic faith into essentially a religious holy war. If this legislation passes, it will arm every single flashpoint that's currently happening, and there will be no off-ramp to World War III. And it will lead to our inevitable defeat because the government, the Zionist government of Israel, is very close to a parasitic organism. And in our death throes of sucking our strength from us and emboldening them, they are going to become a superpower temporarily, in my opinion, and it will lead to the demise of the United States in total war throughout the Middle East, throughout every single theater, and it will be a religious holy war.
Well, it seems to me that Israel's already a superpower. I mean, it's just like Wormtongue from The Lord of the Rings having total control over Rohan through King Theoden by corrupting him. Now we're in a situation here where Israel basically controls the United States. And keep in mind, folks, that this legislation specifically entrenches and empowers our U.S. deep state in conjunction with the Israeli deep state, Mossad, others, specifically in the context of artificial intelligence. So we're at a place right now with the development of AI where we've got the Sam Altmans and others who are the big tech executives. They've been recently walking back some of their fear-mongering around artificial intelligence simply because they're about ready to have massive IPOs for their companies, and so they're walking back the danger because they want the IPO to be as successful as possible. But we know that they're talking about how terrible this is. Even Anthropic has come out and said, look, we have to wait before we release Mythos because it's so powerful. Nobody's passwords are going to be safe. Nobody's data is going to be safe. Everybody's going to be hackable in an instant. So right now we're in this artificial intelligence arms race against China, where if China wins, there's this surveillance state, the CCP version of the 21st century. If we win, there's this Patriot Act version of the 21st century empowered by artificial intelligence, basically another version of a surveillance state, certainly political harassment taking place. But now, after we've gone through months and months in mystery after mystery of why the Epstein files haven't been released, when many who are paying attention are saying that the reason those files haven't been released is because it implicates Israel at a time where our national security apparatus wants Israel to have as much popular support as possible because of this war with Iran, because of the petrodollar. Now we've got a situation where we have been seeing an increase in awareness of Israeli blackmail of U.S. politicians, leaders, moguls, you name it. Now we're going to have official legislation to merge all of our artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, surveillance with the nation that is responsible for more blackmail against people in the United States of America than any other nation. It's just astounding to me.
Israel will know everything, know everyone. Israel. They just pissed me off so bad.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm somebody who tried to defend them as much as I could for as long as possible. Just benefit of the doubt type stuff. And I'm running out of excuses, man. There's just no way to defend them anymore.
Should we get into clip? Uncle Alex is here. Clip 100, Alex Jones 2027.
Towards shifting aid further into the shadows, the House 2027 National Defense Authorization Act would all but fuse the two countries' armed forces together. And it literally does that and says they'll coordinate, share intelligence, which is already going on, do it all, but then the funding will come out of a partnership, but the Pentagon and the U.S. taxpayer pays for it. So when you see Netanyahu going, well, we're no longer going to get aid from Congress, we're going to wean ourselves off of that. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see that. But now we're in a partnership in joint weapons development and intelligence. It's in the Defense Authorization Act. You can go read it for yourself that they are merging, and then it's going to be in a secret budget. And as soon as I was reading this, when this broke Friday, I went, wait a minute. I've seen Netanyahu on multiple shows say, but very
60
matter
minutes.
of fact, but it sounds very reasonable. Oh, we're just going to have partnerships in weapon development now and share from the profits of this. And then you read it, the Pentagon's going to say, here's our most secret systems, avionics, AI, weapons, missiles, bombs. And then Israel will give us one little piece of one of their things, and then we give them everything, and then they get to sell it and make profit from it. So they're literally coming in to even take over the piece of the military-industrial complex pie.
So Israel gets all our shiny brand new toys, and we get matzo ball soup. Israel gets AI, hypersonic missiles, hypersonic drones, and we get a dreidel.
Why
What a great
why
fucking
would we
deal.
even pass this legislation? That's what I don't understand. Is it because the IDF has so much intelligence that we absolutely need for the sake of our own national security apparatus? I mean, it seems like a one-way benefit here.
They have the evidence to blackmail you, they have the funding to primary you, and they have the means to kill you. So it's pretty lockstep to me why this is such a bad deal. This is like that Kids for Cars, give me your Volvo for $250 deal.
Yeah.
It's never a good deal when you deal with Israel.
It's just unbelievable to me. I don't see a way out. I mean, we saw with what happened with the Thomas Massie election, an example of just how far AIPAC, the Israel lobby, is willing to go in order to make an example of someone here in the United States. And I'm not sure whether or not they could spend $35 million on every single congressional seat. They probably could.
Those
here in the
Jewish
United States of
pockets run
America.
deep.
But they certainly made an example, and I'm sure they frightened everyone else in their district away from saying anything negative toward Israel. They've certainly scared the hell out of everyone ahead of this vote on NDAA, fiscal year 2027, Section 224, which we just read bullet points of what it does. I don't see how we solve this problem, dude. Like, how are we gonna peacefully and legally eradicate our exposure to the Israel lobby?
We are so entangled at this point that it might even collapse the U.S. economy. Because remember when 9/11 happened and it came out, we shipped the bin Laden family out and they own 3% of the U.S. economy roughly. And he's been essentially an intelligence asset since the Mujahideen days. How much do you think Israel owns? How much do you think Israel finances? And I'm just an amateur here and you're a pro. I'm like, a youngling starting on OnlyFans and you're Johnny Sins. But I'm sure you have a better idea. What percentage do you think Israel owns of the United States economy?
Well, I don't know what percentage they own of the United States economy, but I am certain that they own a extreme percentage of the United States elected officials in the Senate and in Congress, and obviously the White House. So whether they actually own the money, you ever see that Frank Underwood, right, from House of Cards, Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
He says he has a brilliant line at one point in time. Maybe I can find the clip where he says, I'll never respect anyone who chooses money over power. I'll choose power every single time, right?
Yeah, he's saying you have the money, but I have the men with the guns. Remember that quote?
Yeah. So find House of Cards, money over power. Let's see if the clip comes up. It might not. But the point I'm trying to make is Israel has certainly chosen power over money. It's a small nation, a handful of millions of people. Here's the clip that I think this is the clip that I was thinking of.
You've made your point. Have I? I hope so. It's such a waste of time. He chose money over power. In this town, a mistake nearly everyone makes. Money is the McMansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. Power is the old stone building that stands for centuries. I cannot respect someone who doesn't see the difference.
Well, there you go. Right. So we're in a position right now where through this legislation, through the blackmail, through the manipulation of our leadership, i.e., spending $35 million to ensure that Thomas Massie is not elected so that some neoconservative can be in office. I mean, that's a perfect example of Israel choosing power over money. They understand what Frank Underwood was saying in that clip there, that power is what lasts centuries, money is fleeting.
Oh, BB definitely watches House of Cards. And you know what I actually like about BB is he'll leave these little breadcrumbs before a big event or before a big plan unfolds. If we play clip 101, BB 60 Minutes.
I think that it's time that we weaned ourselves from the remaining military support and go from
Sounds
aid
good, doesn't it?
to partnership. So I want to draw it down, and then I want to suggest projects, joint projects for intel, for weapons, for missile defense. Israel, I think, is a leader in this in the world. Many countries come to us for it. I'd like to share.
Oh, I'll talk to my car guy. I'll talk to my electrician. Oh, I'll talk to my AIPAC guy. It's such a crazy situation because those of us with a brain know what's happening, but no one can seem to stop it. Lest you get hit with a goy beam.
The question is, could we possibly reach a critical mass before it's too late to reverse this? I mean, if there was massive 75% of American awareness to this problem tomorrow, just miraculously.
Funds diverted to subsidize a foreign nation's advanced defense industry, but America's own proprietary technology is subsequently transferred to Israeli firms. These companies are then free to leverage this gifted technology to develop and profit from advanced weapons systems, which they often market to strategic competitors of the U.S., such as China.
So, going back to the clip you just played, you skipped the best part of that too, by the way. It's a Korean lady yelling, "Jesus, forgive us. We've turned our back on." Probably the best intelligence agency in the world.
Certainly the most powerful, regardless of whether it's the best. It's just positioned so powerfully right in the middle of OPEC and all the OPEC nations. I mean,
it's the centerpiece of the world.
It's the centerpiece of the world. The entire global economy is centered around U.S. cooperation with Israel because we need the intelligence to ensure that oil is always traded in U.S. dollars. And they know that. And they're trying to leverage us into this IMEC corridor that goes through the port of Haifa so they can capitalize on all of the trade that happens in the entire hemisphere, on top of the fact that they control our entire military. And frankly, I think we forgot to play this clip. Israel does sell our technology to China.
Oh, Chase, we built the Goy beam, and then they just turn it around on us and say, get in line, Goy. We've been giving them technology. They have decades of selling U.S. technology to our fucking goddamn enemies, and we're going to turn around and merge with them now?
Expanding a tried and true grift. This new agreement builds on decades of the same grift, as seen with Israel's Iron Beam. For the past...
Anyway, it's well documented that our technology has been sold repeatedly by Israel to China.
Well, I can give a little breakdown here.
Please do.
It says, Grok says, historical allegations. To China in the 1980s, 1990s, Israel sold military tech, missiles, radars, navigation systems to China. CIA Director James Woolsey stated in 1993 that Israel had been selling advanced military technology to China for over a decade, potentially worth billions, including jet fighters, air-to-air missiles, and tanks. The Lavi fighter program, U.S.-funded Israeli Lavi project, was canceled in 1987. Allegations persist that Israel transferred related U.S. technology and designs influencing China's J-10 fighter, which is the equivalent to our fighters today. Python missiles, Sidewinder missiles, like the one that blew up the Chinese weather balloon, optics, airborne early warning radars, miniature missile cooling systems, and of course, let's not forget how they became a nuclear power. They stole 300 pounds of our fucking shit.
And they're still technically not officially acknowledging that they are a nuclear power.
And because of that, that caused a nuclear arms race. I was in a space the other day where I forgot who it was, but they were saying that Iran never wanted to get nukes. Iran has every right to get nukes in the face of this kind of threat. And most Gulf fuges, dirty bombs since the 90s. So there's decades of nuclear proliferation. Almost every little hat and every towel head has these. So it's not just superpowers, it's all regional powers too. That's my TED Talk.
Here's what really troubles me too, Bak. Whenever you criticize Israel, there's always some asshole like Sebastian Gorka or Mark Levin that immediately just assumes or claims to assume that it's because you love Islam so much, right? You ever criticize Muslims? Oh, they say that you're a Zionist and you just love Israel. You ever criticize Israel? They say, oh, you must just absolutely love Islam. You just love the Muslim terrorists. And there's the popular, nuanced perspective that both Israel and Islam suck. And I want to show this clip just to give you an example. This is Sneeko the other day talking about universal Islam. Let's watch this and break it down together, Bak.
And although this will not happen until Isa alayhi salam returns, if everybody was Muslim, there'd be world peace. If everybody was Muslim the way it should be, we'd have world peace, but people have their ego. They're attached to tribalism, to their race, to nation. They're patriotic. They have stupid reasons to hold them back. Even though so many people know it's the truth, their ego just won't let them join. And so because of this ego, because of this problem, we will have chaos for years and years and years to come.
Obviously bullshit take.
If we were all Muslim, we would all end up being 40% related.
Yeah, 40% cousin marriage. Obviously, most terrorism occurs between Muslims, just like black on black crime is the most common form of crime in the United States of America. Islam on Islam crime is the most common form of terrorism in the world.
They're the biggest victims of Islam.
100%. I mean, if you've ever had an Uber driver and asked them why they came over here, half of them are going to tell you the reason they came over here is because they were suffering from terrorist attacks or assault or violence from extremist groups. Now, I'm not saying that so because I have some neoconservative perspective and I want the United States to go in and police the whole thing and overthrow governments in the Middle East and establish some democracy in the region that can mitigate this terrorist front. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I would rather have Israel and the Muslims all just fighting each other without the United States being involved whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is, if we keep doing our monetary system the way that we do it through the Federal Reserve, fractional reserve banking, central banking, with a fiat currency like we do based off of the trade of oil, we are always going to be involved in all of these conflicts. And Israel, through its massive leverage through AIPAC and other special interest groups, is always going to be able to buy all of our leadership. I mean, right now, we have a Congress that more closely represents the interests of the state of Israel than it does the people of the United States of America. And this is the type of shit that would catalyze our founding fathers into a second revolution.
The ironic thing here is most Muslim countries, Islamic countries, were actually westernized in the 50s. If you look at Iran, you look at Iraq, they were wearing suit and ties. There were big booty hoes everywhere, rock and roll.
Yep.
We want to be like the West. And then you have the creation of the State of Israel, and then them gaining dominance over the Middle East. And then a lot of ISIS commanders, it turns out, they are Israeli. They are Mossad. And then you get into the neocons here, really playing into it in the 80s with funding the Mujahideen. And we created radical Islam as a polarizing force to have an excuse to be all over the Middle East. And Israel has, really played its part in getting Americans to be scared of radical Islam when we actually created it with the help of Israel.
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
We installed the Shah.
Yeah.
Just like Ron Paul said a million times in every debate. Nobody listened to him. They just got him with that gotcha question. So, do you think that heroin should be legal? And of course, he'd have to say yes because he was a libertarian. And immediately they would just write off anything else that he had to say because he claimed that heroin should be legal in the midst of the opioid crisis.
I mean, why'd we go into Afghanistan? Grow poppy.
Yeah, so we could outsource it to the pharmaceutical companies.
Saddam Hussein was a CIA agent. And his main job was to go to war with Iran. And then we bulldoze into Iraq, and then we leave. That leads to the formation of ISIS in the power vacuum. And who owns half of Iraq today? Iran. So, I don't know, man. This whole thing is so confusing. I just wish everyone would get hit with the Goy beam sometime. Just fucking end it all.
I'm getting there, too. And this is all, of course, happening in the context of the artificial intelligence arms race ramping up. Allegedly through this merger, or seemingly through this merger, the United States would seek to partner in a very entrenched, entangled way with Israel on artificial intelligence development, surveillance, cyber warfare development. Even the bio stuff is really creepy, especially in light of everything we've seen with the mosquitoes and the ticks and the Bill Gates stuff that's mentioned in this legislation, specifically bioweapons mentioned in this legislation. And keep in mind, folks, that we just went to a proxy war with Russia through Ukraine, largely because there are countless dozens of Ukraine biolabs backed by the United States of America that we didn't want Russia to have access to, that we didn't want Russia to be able to release the files on and disclose to the American people what was really going on. You can go back and find YouTube videos from 2017 of people working at these labs, bragging about the type of research that they're doing on behalf of the United States of America, and then all of a sudden there's a war between Russia and Ukraine and everybody denies that these biolabs exist. Now we're passing legislation.
Incredible computer. I'm so proud of it.
Well, there you go. These chips are all just about having great video games and solving complicated math problems. Has nothing to do with being able to kill anybody at any moment in time based on their internet history.
I mean, this all ties into the surveillance state, which ties into our favorite person ever, 108 Dorka compilation. We're going to rehash a past episode here. And we're going to tie in the implications of the AI surveillance state into these new counterterrorism laws.
Which is an arrogant thing to do. You never want to brag about what brand of cigar that you're smoking. First thing you do after you light a cigar is take off the label. Now, Sebastian Gorka has come out.
Sebastian Gorka, Deputy Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Counterterrorism.
I've wanted this job 26
making
years.
History every step of the way with President Trump. Here they are in the Oval Office. And this was important. There's a new counterterrorism strategy. Let's go ahead and put that up, and you'll tell us more about what this is all about.
Islamist
New types of terrorist groups, legacy
narco-terrorists,
Islamist terrorists, narco-terrorists,
violent left-wing
transnational terrorists,
extremists.
violent left-wing extremists. Look, they're doing some recategorization, I believe, and it's all designed to make us safer. Sebastian Gorka, welcome back. How are you? What is life like every day going to the White House and looking for the bad guys?
Living the dream, as I tell people every time when they ask me, living the dream. I've waited 26 years for this job.
He's got a still image said that of the White House in the
Carlson
background. Nick Fuentes should be classified as domestic terrorists, which is ironic for two reasons. Now, I'm not going to make any claims as to whether or not Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson are feds, but if they are feds, which I think they probably are not, but if they are feds, then Sebastian Gorka is officially stating that feds are domestic terrorists, in which case...
Please. It's up to people like you. I'm not a political analyst anymore. I'm a counterterrorism government employee. But we have to have an effective accurate snapshot on who are part of the conservative movement today? Because I would say to you, I'm not sure that Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson are conservatives. If you are lauding a Sharia law, if you are saying that there are Muslim states that seem to be better qualitatively than America in terms of freedom and prosperity, I'm not sure that means you're part of the conservative movement. So if you remove those individuals and you understand that they're not conservatives, what's left? Who are the people in the main?
Fact of the matter is, Sebastian Gorka is spending his time as some sort of a consultant in the administration, a consultant on foreign affairs or something like that, Bak? I can't even remember.
He runs the counterterrorism.
He runs the counterterrorism. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's the counterterrorism expert, and he's saying that these American citizens are domestic terrorists when he himself didn't even become a U.S. citizen until what? So one thing that comes to mind here is, for those of you who have been following me for any period of time, I was placed on a Ukrainian enemies of the state list along with 200 other people, including Alex Jones, Jamie White, several other InfoWars staffers, hosts. Hodge twins were included in that list. This was a list created by an organization funded by the Central Intelligence Agency here in the United States of America. So I pay taxes. The CIA takes the tax dollars, uses it to fund organizations that puts me on an enemies of the state list, resulting in being swatted a number of times within the same day. You guys have heard the story, you know it, right? Now we're in a situation where there's massive legislation being created in the United States of America and internationally to fight anti-Semitism. Famously here in the United States of America, we've seen President Trump come out and do things like deport people who are students here in the United States who are participating in protests against Israel or in favor of Gaza or Palestine, what have you. And I'm not somebody who supports either Israel or Palestine. I don't like my taxes going to genocide, but I'm not somebody who has really even a position on the two-state solution versus who has a right to the land. I don't give a shit. I lived in Texas when all this stuff started happening, and Texas is occupied territory. I was happy to live there, no problem whatsoever. But we have a government which funds our people being put on enemies of the state lists for other nations, which simultaneously advocates for and passes legislation to censor the freedom of speech, either through deportation, through loss of scholarship, through deplatforming on major social media platforms, people who espouse anti-Semitic rhetoric, right? And now we're in a situation where we're partnering with Israel on artificial intelligence and cybersecurity when we know Israel and the likes of the World Jewish Congress led by Ronald Lauder, who is the father of the wife of the new chairman of the Federal Reserve, who said that there has to be massive legislation against anti-Semitism. There have to be massive consequences to stop this rise of anti-Semitism. We just watched a clip, a compilation of different nations praying to allegedly the same God to stop the growth of anti-Semitism. Germany saying anti-Semitism is growing. China saying anti-Semitism is growing. Obviously, Israel saying it. Our government here in the United States of America. I mean, what do you think is going to happen after we partner with and continue to fund Mossad, the IDF, in the artificial intelligence realm? What is going to happen? I can tell you right now, there are going to be lists made, the likeness of which Schindler's List would blush to see, of American citizens named as anti-Semites, enemies of the state, domestic terrorists, the Gorkas and others. They want to make everybody domestically a terrorist they possibly can, because as soon as you're a terrorist, you don't have the same rights as a regular citizen, and they can lock you up, shut you down, silence you, freeze your bank accounts. This is the type of shit that we're going to see if this NDAA passes with Section 224 the way that it's currently written. It's bullshit. There's no way from a national defense perspective that we need this partnership whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. And if it passes the way that it looks like it's going to pass, we are 100% totally astronomically fucked.
I mean, they're going to Guantanamo Bay fucking all of us. And you can see the dialectic being built up here. Conservative administration's in. Oh, what are you, a Sharia law sympathizer? The next Democratic administration that gets in. Oh, what are you, anti-Semitic? They're going to get you by hook or by crook. And they're creating the dialectic where you you take fucking one step the wrong way, you're an extremist, you're an anti-Semite, you're a Muslim sympathizer, you're a terrorist, you're a drug dealer. So this is an all-encompassing net to get the majority of the American citizenry in. And if we go to clip 109, Vine and Fig, you can really see the strategy laid out here. This was leaked on X, I believe, a couple weeks ago or a week and a half ago. It's our boy Harrison.
Huge variety of insane things happening, and I'm going to get into the Vine and Fig Tree organization as well. That's the pro-Israel organization with ties into the administration. The VFT was at the White House meeting with Sebastian Gorka. Shortly after that White House meeting, I was contacted through a third party and asked to scriptwrite for VFT. The individual who contacted me is very publicly Christian and widely perceived as America First. I was told the script would be used to create an AI-generated video on behalf of the White House, specifically for the NSC and Sebastian Gorka. They told me, quote, yeah, we have to do this on behalf of them, the administration, because they don't want it to look like it's actually coming from the White House. You know what I mean? I mean, it worked out for them and Nick Shirley. I was then given a Dropbox link containing research, polling data, internal comments, and strategy material compiled by VFT and the third party involved. Inside the Dropbox were 7 folders. Through these documents, I learned more about what the organization actually does. Their reports monitor major conservative and dissident right accounts and frequently frame those accounts as being vulnerable to or participating in foreign influence operations. The report includes information regarding Nick Fuentes, the Hodge twins, Real Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Jackson Hinkle, Ian Carroll, Mario Nawfal, just to name a few. They also collected polling and response data surrounding Joe Kent's resignation from...
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. So this was I don't remember the woman's name, but she at least had a conscience. And I'm sure if she's a United States citizen, she's, acting in our best interest. She leaked all of this. They were going to pretty much run a disinformation campaign against every prominent America First former MAGA influencer and discredit them as being anti-Semites. And you heard the whole list right there. They'll make another list after they get those influencers, and they'll just keep going and going until no one's left.
It's just unbelievable. Not to mention the fact that Bill Gates had the audacity to come out and complain about RFK Jr.'s book, accusing him of everything that he actually did. Let's watch this clip a little bit and then dive into Alex breaking it down for a few minutes.
The position he's been given in this incoming administration.
Well, he wrote a book saying that Tony Fauci and I kill millions of children and make billions of dollars with vaccines. And, people can judge for themselves whether that's correct or not.
He's complaining about it, but he won't sue either, will he? Because he doesn't want the discovery to take place whatsoever. Here's Jones.
Google's releasing 32 million mosquitoes on us next month. People just address that. No. I'm going to pull up and show you that Google gave tens of millions of dollars in 2018 and 2019 to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan.
Sorry for blowing your ears out there. And we don't have to watch the whole 8.5 minutes of this clip, but you get the idea. Just unbelievable. And everybody knows what Bill Gates did with the mosquito nets. Laced the mosquito nets with poison to kill the malaria mosquitoes. All the people in the third world countries that got these mosquito nets simultaneously would fish with them during the day because they use things for multiple purposes. And then massive amounts of people in third world countries were being poisoned and dying because they were using the poison-laced nets to catch fish and they were eating the fish.
Oh, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Sounds like some Bill Gates shit, though.
Yeah. And look, I can't say with certainty whether he did it on purpose or not, but how do you fuck that up? I mean, that is a terrible mistake to make. Maybe, back out after that one. Sorry, guys. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. Nope. He just, bitches about being featured in RFK Jr.'s book as somebody responsible through vaccinations for the death of millions upon millions of children.
I mean, do you think this is going to be tied to the Zika virus? Do you think these mosquitoes are going to be released and we're going to see a miraculous outbreak of Zika? Because it seems like everywhere he goes to cure a virus, that exact virus ends up spreading.
I'll tell you, I think Lyme disease was invented by the government. I think HIV was invented by the government. Obviously, we know that coronavirus was invented in its current form. COVID-19 specifically. Obviously not all coronaviruses, but COVID-19 was invented by the government. And they're going to explore these mechanisms. I mean, right now we're about ready to pass legislation to partner the United States with Israel on research and development of bioweapons. And you don't think that our government at some point in time has realized, hey, we should not only make viruses and experiment with and explore and study different viruses and how they could impact different genetic makeups, but simultaneously, if we're going to research developing these viruses, we have to figure out a distribution mechanism or a contagion vector. And mosquitoes are huge for that. That's Lyme disease right there. Sexually transmitted diseases, huge for that. That's HIV right there.
Lyme disease is a form of syphilis. It's weaponized syphilis, essentially. So between the mosquitoes,
didn't it come out? Isn't Lyme? What's the name? Is it Lyme? It's near Lyme. What the hell's the name of the town?
Lyme, Connecticut?
Lyme, Connecticut, right? Isn't there a massive military research and development base there?
Well, that is one component of it. But they say Lyme disease actually broke out from the Plum Island weapons facility with a deer that got infected, and then swam across, and then made it to the mainland.
And there just so happens to be a virus that makes you immune to all meat, or especially beef, with the exception of Bill Gates' Impossible Burger?
It's a tick, not a virus. It's the Lone Star tick.
Yeah, but the tick has the virus, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's a virus. I think the tick causes the an allergy. It causes an allergy. Now, I don't know if that's from the virus of a tick, but let me look it up.
What do you think, Bacchus?
I mean, we're not becoming Spider-Man from this fucking bullshit. I know that much. But yeah, it's alpha-gal causes an immune response to bovine protein, especially, but to a lot of other forms of protein too. So, they don't want us eating meat because it makes us swole, makes us fucking yoked up. And the Romans knew never to feed their slaves meat. That's where bread and water comes from, especially for prisoners. Every time you feed the slaves meat, we have a goddamn uprising on our hands.
I didn't realize the Romans didn't feed their slaves meat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like it comes down to a sugar molecule called alpha-gal. And it's one of the stranger allergies out there because the allergen isn't a protein and the reaction is delayed. So here's the chain of events. Alpha-gal is a carbohydrate found in the tissues of most non-primate mammals, cows, pigs, sheep, deer. Humans, apes, and old world monkeys are the exception. We lost the gene to make it millions of years ago. So our immune systems treat it as foreign. So the Lone Star tick carries alpha-gal in its saliva. When it bites you and feeds, it injects that alpha-gal into your bloodstream along with a cocktail of other saliva components. The key is the context of that exposure. So tick saliva is biologically aggressive. It contains compounds that provoke a strong immune response, essentially acting like a natural adjuvant. So instead of ignoring the alpha-gal, your immune system mounts a robust reaction and starts producing IgE antibodies specifically against it. IgE is the antibody class that drives true allergic reactions. At that point, you've been sensitized, primed to react to alpha-gal anywhere it shows up. So the problem is that alpha-gal then shows up in your dinner. You eat beef, pork, or lamb, and you're ingesting the same sugar your immune system is now hunting for. The IgE antibodies recognize it and trigger an allergic response, hives, gastrointestinal distress, sometimes full anaphylaxis in worst case scenario. Two things make this allergy unusual. First, the reaction is typically delayed 2 to 6 hours after eating rather than within minutes like a peanut or shellfish allergy. That's because alpha-gal rides along on fats and glycolipids that take time to digest and circulate. So the immune trigger arrives late, which is why people often don't connect the midnight hives to the burger at dinner. Second, because it's a mammalian sugar, a reaction can extend to dairy, gelatin, and even some medications derived from mammal tissue, not just meat itself. And there's still some open science about exactly how much of the alpha-gal comes from the tick's own biology versus residue from previous mammalian blood meals. But the practical upshot is settled. The tick bite is what flips the immune switch. So it's the carbohydrate that's in the tick saliva. You're right, it's not a virus maze, but it is straight from that specific tick's saliva.
Well, wow. Thank you for explaining that. Did you ever watch the video of the guy? I think it was either at the World Economic Forum or he was speaking about how this tick or this allergy could be a strategic way to reduce meat and dairy from humans' diet.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Asian feller.
Yeah, I know the clip that you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it.
Yep, I have it. Hold on, I gotta get it to you real quick.
Fucking traitor.
Who?
The Asian guy.
Oh, your boy.
Yeah,
That's
he ain't
fun.
my boy. We disown his ass.
So are y'all ready to eat bugs? Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah.
Like if it goes to dairy as well, I didn't know that part. I mean, I don't eat meat, but
I just sent it to you, Chase.
I think this is it.
So I'll give two examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
There you have it.
And think of how sophisticated this attack is. They spray on you with the stratospheric aerosol injection, chemtrails. They release all the little wonderful buggies on you, ticks and mosquitoes, and I wonder what else they're cooking up. And then they get you at the nanomolecular level with the COVID vaccine and infect your blood, infect your cum, just infect all your bodily fluids. So you're really not going to be able to escape from this at any point of the game. They got you from the skies. They got you from below. They got you from above. They got you in you.
Do you guys remember that video that Bill Gates released of the mosquitoes? Like, they didn't even say anything in the video. Like, nobody explained the stupid video. It was like some sort of, I don't know, trailer or something about like they're coming to a town near you. I don't even know what that was about. But it was just freaky and it was real. Did you guys see that?
Desire to control people. It's part of the gig. And some of them, when they decide they don't want to go into politics.
So he's releasing the mosquitoes with the diseases. Loves it. Absolutely happy to poison everybody in third world countries with poison-ridden nets that are donated as some sort of generosity. Simultaneously wants to block out the sun altogether while he complains about RFK Jr.'s claims in a book that he refuses to open a lawsuit regarding because he doesn't want any discovery to take place. Is he not the shittiest guy ever? Go ahead, Mace.
Cherry on top. He creates this trailer. I just DM'd it to you. It's 55 seconds, but it is the creepiest. There's no information at all in it, and it just shows like this almost a horror movie type of trailer. And I'm not even exaggerating. You'll see that like just saying mosquitoes are coming for you type of shit. It's so crazy. Anyway, yeah, I sent it to you if you wanted to watch it.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull it up. What do you think, Bacchus?
Even poor people should be able to get it. Ha 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 ha.
I mean, it's just like, that's the thing. For some reason, this man has been able to have more power over our air that we breathe, the sun that like shines on us all. I mean, because you guys know he was putting aluminum in these reflectors, like all types of experiments just because he's a billionaire. That's ridiculous.
it's legit like supervillain status. Like the cartoons that we saw as kids, like that's who these guys are becoming.
It's like somebody hurt his ass when he was a kid, and now it's like Revenge of the Nerds. You know what I'm saying?
No, it is Revenge of the Nerds, 100%.
Well, you know his mother ran Planned Parenthood, right? She ran the headquarters out on the West Coast in Seattle, I believe. So he comes from a bloodline of evildoers. I forgot what his dad was into exactly, but he was a fuckboy too.
So here's Bill Gates from the official Bill Gates YouTube channel. Thank you, Maze, for sharing this. The video is titled "It's Mosquito Week." What the fuck? It's like that movie Obsession.
Don't watch that.
Grim Reaper in the middle of a swamp for those just listening.
That's Fauci right there.
Still the world's deadliest killer. Mosquito Week. Only on the Gates Notes. I'd rather watch Shark Week.
Yeah, that's like a play
Oh,
on
I
Shark
love
Week.
Shark Week. Oh my
What
god.
the hell was that?
Girl.
It definitely was trying to bite Shark Week, no pun intended, but and it's swampy. So where you're releasing stuff has been tropical areas, not swamps. I mean, there's so much. I really actually despise that. Man, when are we going to eat billionaires? Are we still doing that?
I will eat my neighbor.
No, they're getting out of here. You guys
There
saw
you
that
go.
Peter Thiel fled to Argentina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
and
did
that's
Peter
why
Thiel
we
do
need to-
that?
Well, we need to
Why
eat
do they
them
use the
now.
word fled? Did he move or did he flee?
I mean, he fled from us for sure.
Well, I mean, I think he's fleeing ahead of some major events that are
All I
occurring
know
here.
is he bought a $12 million house in Argentina and abruptly moved his entire family there and enrolled his children in school.
Yeah, he moved his whole family over there. And did you see one of the first things he did was host a dinner about the Antichrist?
Yeah. When he was in Argentina?
Yeah. You would move to a place like Argentina in the Southern Hemisphere or New Zealand, which remember when Bezos and all these other people had different homes that they were, and their yachts were rigged up to go to New Zealand?
Yes.
So this shit's all connected. They know that this NDAA bill is probably going to be what triggers it. If you see what's in the bill, it's essentially an armament package for Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel. If we play clip 116, Ukraine on the ropes, and then you read the missiles that we're procuring, it's the same exact shit.
That's interesting. I had no idea. They tried to say he's a refugee from taxes, from wealth tax. That's hilarious. I mean, it's kind of funny. I can't.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. 116
Poor
is
him.
drone footage in Ukraine, I think.
No, it says 116 Ukraine on the ropes. It's an interview between
Stuck in, I'll call it a 5-hour zone. Well, it's not expanding. It is there's not a single measure that you can point to where Russia is going backwards and Ukraine is going forwards.
So look at the multi-year procurement in the 2027 NDAA. PAC-3 missiles. Where did we just hear that? THAAD, AMRAAM, Tomahawk. These are all missile interceptors or offensive weapons that are shot out of Patriot batteries. And my source in Ukraine, Contact, who will probably be joining us later this week, has told me he's gotten information that if the rate of attrition keeps happening like it is right now, Ukraine's defensive lines will collapse by September.
Well, I mean, that's why they're officially kidnapping women to serve. They're conscripting women now.
Oh, both sides do that, for sure, yeah. But Ukraine's getting desperate, and you'll most likely see Russia going for a knockout blow, Belarus enter the war, and then go after the other Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia. Remember what that billionaire was saying?
Yeah.
If Latvia gets invaded, I'm out of here. So you can see the stage being set up right now, even in
And
this
kudos to
procurement.
Bach, too, because one of the first episodes that we ever did last month when we got in the new studio and got all set up, you said that was what was next in Ukraine. Massive escalation in Kiev, murmurings of a military coup within Ukraine as well. We haven't seen the military coup manifest explicitly, overtly yet, but we've certainly seen report after report over the course of the last several weeks of heavier attacks than ever before on Ukraine, on Kiev specifically from Russia. I mean, the drone strikes have been record level drone strikes from Russia to Kiev. So the pressure is being ramped up 100%.
In multiple theaters, did you see that Iran just attacked U.S. bases in Kuwait?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we We have, I don't know if this is the exact clip. I believe it is, but I didn't 100% verify. But if we want to play 117, Iran attack on U.S. bases. I believe this just happened the
other day. Yeah. Wow. That's massive.
He wants them to agree not to buy one either. But even with Americans still feeling the economic pain of this war, President Trump made one thing very clear. He's in no rush to make a deal with.
And by the way,
Selena Wang, thanks so much.
As of 11 hours ago, Iran has called off all negotiations with the United States per the New York Post. But it's funny because this is from Leading Report on X. And 3 hours ago, they say a deal between the U.S. and Iran could happen this week per ABC News. So on our side, we keep exaggerating how close we are to an actual agreement or negotiation or peace deal with Iran. And what's coming straight from Iran is fuck you, no deal, fuck you, no deal, over and over again. I don't think we're anywhere close to this conflict being over.
No, and Mace is Persian.
What's that got to do with it? But look, did you guys just see that apparently Trump lost his shit on Netanyahu? This was very recent, I think an hour ago or something, or it might have been a little bit more than an hour. But apparently he and Netanyahu, but see, to me, I feel like that's probably theatrics, but I don't know if you guys heard about that.
It was public?
Well, it's reported
Mace,
publicly.
I saw that and I heard that. And let me chime in on that. I think that's bullshit. Until I hear that recording, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yeah, it feels like theater. But it's just interesting. It's almost like Trump is saying that we're close to a deal. Israel said that regardless, we're going to continue to attack the southern Lebanon. But Iran made a red line, if they bomb Beirut, that's it.
Crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this.
Wild. If that's true, that's wild. But it's just some quote from Axios, so who the fuck knows?
This war is never going to end until one side completely vanquishes the other. And something that no one's talking about is, remember when ISIS was destroying those historical sites in Syria?
Yeah, 100%. They were hitting those statues and stuff.
Israel is pretty much doing the same thing in this war, and I think they either a primary or secondary objective of these type of conflicts is to destroy all the historical sites so we have no reference point. Because did you see that Beaufort Castle got hit?
Mm-mm.
It's a medieval Crusader Knights Templar.
That was just
castle.
mentioned though, right, in Lebanon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it over.
So are they normalizing the destruction of historical sites ahead of the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque? You know?
That's interesting.
Because you know what that symbolizes and represents? Represents the building of the third temple. And all of our Muslim allies in the Gulf Coast nations are going to turn on us. And before you join the space, Maze, I was in a space with you the other day, and a speaker had said that Iran never planned on getting nuclear weapons. They don't have nuclear weapons. I'm under the assumption that almost all these Gulf Coast countries have nuclear weapons. Because I was telling Chase earlier, if you look, Saudi Arabia hosts Pakistan's nuclear weapons. Turkey hosts United States nuclear weapons. And everyone should go, I want to say this one more time because this is a matter of life or death, and we should be under the assumption multiple powers have nuclear weapons, especially, obviously we know the superpowers, but all the regional ones. Dr. Khan in Pakistan, I think through the 90s, he was one of the biggest nuclear proliferators in known history. He was selling centrifuges, he was selling dirty bombs, suitcase nukes, and you should be under the assumption all of these countries in these conflict regions have nuclear weapons. Look at Belarus. They're hosting Russia's tactical nuclear warheads.
Yeah, but Bak, why is it okay that some of these places have nukes and then some of these places don't? Like for Iran, for example, why are we so concerned that Iran has nukes, but not other countries that do?
Oh, I'm not making a...
No, I'm seriously wondering, what is this? What is this whole thing? Why are some countries okay, some countries not, because they're our allies?
Well, the point of having it is to deter. So why, Israel, for instance, they have one in Dimona that they stole from us. And whatever, like outside of that, they didn't sign the proliferation. Thank you. You know, it's because I didn't sleep a lot last night. My voice gone. But yes, they didn't sign that treaty, and they're not participating in any of those things. But they're bombing Iran for having enriched uranium. So it's just crazy. I think that if Iran had it, Bak, why wouldn't they use that to deter?
Because I believe Iran's playing a long game, and they're waiting to muster up so much Israeli disdain and hate that right now we know that there's Sunni and Shia in the Islamic world. The Sunnis have largely sided with the West, while Shia have sided with BRICS nations, the East, China and Russia. So they're waiting for the destruction of the holy sites for Israel to keep committing war crimes until they have enough support and they muster enough willpower in the Muslim world for Sunni and Shia to finally unite ahead of the Mahdi coming.
But let me ask the Mahdi. Oh my God. Let me ask you this though. If they were to nuke Israel, you understand the regional implications of this. It's not like they would be impacted by it too. I don't think that that's something that they would do, you know?
Well, just look at it this way. Israel's the crazy wine aunt that has a loaded 9mm handgun in her purse. And you know she's taking antidepressants, and you know she just slapped down a whole bag of wine. So you're just waiting for her to act a fool. Because the first nation to use nuclear weapons again offensively outside of the United States in the past is going to have a Cassius Belli called on them. They're going to be a pariah.
He has a nuclear bomb strapped to his chest, and it's called Samson. Okay, that is what Israel has, not no handgun, and it's called the Samson option.
Yeah, and Israel's probably the most likely country to use nukes offensively. Wouldn't you agree with that? They're out of fucking control.
Jonathan Pollard has literally threatened, was it last week? I think a few days ago, where he brought it up then. He brought it up a few months ago. This is something that, I do think that there's a side of the Knesset, did you hear what Ben Gvir said today?
Oh yeah, we played the clip. Oh, today?
He was talking, was it yet? I don't know. It was very recent. He was basically, talking to Netanyahu saying like, we need to just do this now. Like, forget anything that you got with Trump. Like, just let's go. Basically ready to completely flatten all of the suburbs in Lebanon. Now that's a lot. Okay. And they're all civilians. Just because he thinks there's a couple hundred or a few hundred, I don't know how many exactly, Hezbollah potentially hiding within there. I mean, I don't know. They're
I didn't even realize this,
irrational.
but did you see? I saw that you pinned it, Maze. Ivanka Trump announces that she and her husband Jared Kushner are building a massive off-the-grid private island in the middle of the Mediterranean. Did you see this, Bak?
Fucking 2 packs a day or what?
I don't even know what the fuck I just saw, but my balls just shrank into my sack.
Dude.
Like, bitch, we just want to live, period. What are you talking about?
What the
Like, how
fuck?
out of touch did you think that she was, while she was saying this, she was thinking people were going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you.
I don't think she
Like,
gives a fuck anymore because
fuck?
there's no re-election. It's like it's over.
Fire.
She did say they were going to take care of the land and make sure it was fully integrated. So she cares.
That was
I mean,
nice of her.
she cares
5
so
miles
much.
of beachfront land. Oh man.
Yeah, well,
Total
it's interesting though because there's ocean and lagoon on the other side, right? And then they bought the beach land in front of it, so they've covered their fortress.
White sand.
Look, we know private islands have been controversial lately. We understand that some people have bad feelings, but we were walking barefoot and we just felt totally captivated by this island, and we're gonna just build it out because you know, when you reach a certain level of wealth, the existing world just isn't enough. So you have to build your own planet. Jared and I are converting to
Minecraft shit right there.
It's some Minecraft shit, 100%. Well, it's a cover for the fact that they're building a place that they can escape to in the event of a nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah, but like, why would they share that shit with us? Is it just like one of those like 33 Freemason thing? Like, we have to tell you what we're doing in order for it to like be a thing? I don't understand.
You have learned so much.
Out of touch.
Well, she didn't bring it up.
They're just that out of
Somebody
touch.
else brought it up, and she had to cover for it and say, "Hey, look, it was just so beautiful that we wanted to live there."
cover for it.
But we got Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel's buying his island. Zuckerberg's got his bunker in Hawaii. We've got, or Peter Thiel rather, escaping to Argentina rather than an island. Obviously, he's a dual citizen with New Zealand, which is a common expat strategy. Now we've got
a bunch of the guys who...
Doesn't remember his coach. Doesn't know what kind of bow he has. All he had to say is like, look, dude, when I want to have a new experience, I have a team that sets it up. I don't remember shit about the guys that I went with. I don't know anything about the bow. I went 2 times. I don't know shit.
Do you remember that time when Joe Rogan lied about where he was when Charlie Kirk got shot? Did
no,
he say that?
I didn't know
Yes.
that.
He said that he was at I think it was a hunting trip or something, when in reality he was on air and he was interviewing, was it Mel Gibson or I can't remember.
Oh, it was Charlie Sheen. It was Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
Do you think he just forgot?
Yeah, what a weird thing to lie about.
Weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You're not going to get away with it.
or some shit like that.
Zuckerberg is the fucking lizard, by the way. Like, what the hell is wrong with him?
I think he's this cyborg. I think
he's something. Yeah, that skin isn't
I mean,
real.
more than anyone in this world.
He had to get a
He's a
coach.
weird man for
He had to
sure.
get a coach to coach him how to act more human.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah, tell us you're a cyborg without telling us you're a cyborg.
Seriously.
He's exactly like Data from Star Trek Next Generation.
Did you guys hear that Netanyahu might be attending the UFC at the White House?
Oh my gosh.
That's must-see TV. If that's true, we gotta tune in. You'll like sports.
Maze was invited. We were invited last night in his space. So
What? Who invited you guys to the UFC?
Jordan.
And who, what?
I see my buddy,
Yeah,
my
no.
buddy Jason Papafotis is in the space. I've invited him to speak. I hope he will because he's a brilliant cybersecurity expert as well as Chinese naval.
When is that UFC?
Minesweeping.
It's,
Maze, you gotta go. You gotta go now.
June
When is it?
14th, I think, or something like that.
Oh, Trump's
Shake
birthday.
BB's
Yeah,
hand.
June 14th for Trump's 80th birthday. I
It's
hope-
on his birthday. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It'd be
it's
so
just-
much. It'd be
I
so
know- I
funny
hope
if he spent more on his
Netanyahu
80th
shows up
birthday
because-
than the 250th
I hope
anniversary of the
Netanyahu
nation.
shows up. It will further expose how much of an influence Netanyahu has. If he shows up at this clown show, it will just further open people's eyes because people are going to be watching and they'll be like, why the fuck is Netanyahu here? This is supposed to be celebrating America. And then you have the freaking Israeli prime minister there. That would be the perfect juxtaposition to have someone
make
as
him fight.
American be there.
They make him
No,
fight.
the fight I want to see is Laura Loomer against Candace Owens. I want to see Candace knock her block off.
You see the debate going on? They're saying
No, that is
Candace is in Russia right now giving an interview with what, RT? And then Loomer's saying she's a paid foreign agent and she lied about the nature.
She couldn't wait for the opportunity.
Laura Loomer in 2023 said Putin was right about the Ukrainian Nazis. He's been right about a lot. So she's completely flipped. She has no values. So it's hilarious. Roger Stone wrote an article about
Sorry,
how,
Loomer fan club.
No, Roger Stone wrote an article about how Laura Loomer is completely flipped and is just doing what and is being paid by American Zionists and American Jews to just spit propaganda. I don't think she's actually committed to the Zionist cause like some of these others. Like Mark Levin, he's obviously hardcore committed to it. Shapiro, hardcore committed. I think she's truly just in it for the money. That doesn't make her a good person in any way, but I mean, just the way she's flipped. Like, Levin's been hardcore committed to Israel for, like, 3 years ago, she wasn't pushing any pro-Israel stuff. And before October 7th, she didn't give two flips about Israel.
Yeah, I think she's just vehemently pro-Trump. So whatever she thinks is in line with the Trump administration, she just pushes. I'm not sure that she's paid for.
No, she definitely is. She when October 7th happened, she completely was like flat in Gaza on October 8th. And she's been pushing the whole, like, what was it, Muslim Brotherhood and all this other stuff. Like, specifically, like, when you type those things in, you could see her and Gunther and a few other people, like, using the same language. I'm not saying that she's, well, who are you saying? You're saying Laura Loomer's not paid?
I'm not sure that she's paid. I think she just says whatever Trump wants to hear.
Well,
I actually agree with that sentiment.
I mean, what's he
I think
doing to
she's
make
definitely pro-Israel, for sure.
There's little idiosyncrasies with her. So, for example, I came out with a book a couple of years ago, and it was published by Skyhorse Publishing, which is run by a man named Tony Lyons. And Tony Lyons, I believe, was the head of the largest pro-RFK Jr. PAC before RFK Jr. officially endorsed Trump and joined the campaign. So Laura has me on her podcast. I asked to be on it to talk about the book launch. and it was kind of like a bait and switch. She just immediately starts attacking Skyhorse Publishing and the fact that, you know, all the money that Tony Lyons is making through Skyhorse Publishing is funding RFK Jr.'s campaign, which is a campaign essentially against Trump, right? He was running for president against Trump. And, you know, that was the extent of it. And then, of course, you know, a few weeks later, RFK Jr. famously backs out of the race, endorses President Trump, appears on stage with him. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, good thing that Skyhorse supported, you know, RFK Jr. A couple of weeks ago. I was kind of on my heels like, oh shit, you know, she's got a point. Turns out that RFK Jr. was a very big reason that Trump won the election because of his endorsement, backing out and sliding over all those independents in favor of Trump. And so I just think that if she was like an operative, if she was paid, if she was in on it, she would have known that ahead of time and she wouldn't have come out so hard against the super PAC that was funding RFK.
So
wait, Maze, since this space is about the U.S. military merger with Israel,
It's actually about FUPAs.
Okay, well, I have a theory about this. Think about what just happened a few weeks ago. They put the charges against Hassan Piker, so now we have the far right, which would oppose this, and the far left, which would oppose this, fighting each other instead of both putting pressure on their congressmen to oppose this. So we have Nick and Hassan Piker going at it instead of opposing this. So I think the whole Hassan Piker thing was to start an far right versus far left civil war instead of focusing on this, because almost none of the influencers are talking about this. It's kind of weird. Like
Talking about the merger and the NDAA.
They're trying to have you have Hassan Piker saying Nick's an Israeli agent, and then Nick saying Hassan Piker needs to be in prison. Like, yeah, obviously I fucking hate Hassan Piker, but I don't think Hassan Piker's the biggest threat to American national security now. This merger is the biggest threat to American national security, and it's the most treasonous thing ever proposed in our history.
Should we play clip 103, 2027 NDAA hidden?
Yeah.
Uncle Alex.
Red shot, please. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israel militaries. And that's exactly what it does, but it's worse than that. They're taking it off budget and nesting it inside the classified ledgers of the Pentagon, which last time I checked, if you add it all up, there's over $15 trillion been stolen or disappeared starting in the mid-1990s until now. And, of course, they just failed their audit again. So Hegseth says we're going to get all this fiscal responsibility. Then he brags about a $1.5 trillion defense budget. And he says, oh, we've got the troops the biggest pay raise ever. I think that's a good thing. We've got some of the lowest paid military anywhere for how great they are. That's fine. But they try to mix in pay increases for the military with the rest of the National Defense Authorization Act for 2027, which, again, they passed months before the year ends.
What do you think?
Remember when Rumsfeld came up on September 10th, was like, we don't know where $2 trillion went in the Pentagon budget. And then the financial audit office that would have all the records at the Pentagon got hit with the missile, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they want these huge budgets. I have a whole different take on this than most people. Even besides the Zionists stealing and raiding our treasury, trillions of dollars have went missing out of every budget resolution that's been passed. And I think they use that to build out the parallel civilization, the breakaway civilization that Alex always alludes to, where we're not 10, 20 years ahead. We're not 2, 3, 4 generations ahead. We're 200 to 1,000 years ahead. And then
let me ask,
this money's funded all that infrastructure. But yeah, go ahead, Mace.
So I agree with you, actually. However, I think I'll just say that Catherine Austin Fitz also talks about the breakaway civilization or whatever, and like she's documented over 21 trillion. The thing is that all of the gouging in between all these other appropriation bills, like it adds up. I think that what this is going to be a little bit conspiracy, but bear with me for a second. I think that the underground bunkers, quote unquote, are the multi-domain actual like Vermonas. Like I think they're going to be circling in space while everybody else is kind of going batshit crazy or some sort of I feel like they have knowledge about something happening, whether it's an asteroid, I don't know, but I do feel like that there is some sort of information that these people have, and they're going to like start over whenever that's over.
Oh my gosh, I know what it is, Maze.
What?
August, what is it? August 11th or 12th? The gravity thing. Remember the thing I talked about? How we're supposed to lose gravity for 7 seconds?
Yeah,
That's what
I
it
saw
is.
that shit.
That's what it
I
is.
don't know,
What?
girl. Like, please, hold on. So that's a whole. But let me. So Destiny has been tracking all of this continuity of government. The amount of anomalies with just since Trump's been in office, like, it's insane, and it's really even. I want to say it was like it. I have to get her dashboard, but it's insane. I just want y'all to think about it, like the continuity of government, unprecedented. There's this one, what is it called? It's some sort of presidential memorandum that nobody can see. Like Congress can't even see it. Are you guys aware about that?
No.
Anyway.
What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
get like I'll get Destiny here to explain it, but it's wild.
Yeah, but until then, can you look into that, Chase? The whole we're supposed to lose
That's
gravity.
just scary
I
as hell.
think
I do remember
August
that.
12th, 11th.
I hate thinking
one of those
about that.
days this year. I mean,
I
it's 2 days after my
successfully
son's birthday.
forgot
I'm not
until
exactly
right
I
now.
thought
thrilled.
it was
Okay.
the 7th of some.
Buck, if you were traumatized from the whole obsessed thing, I'm gonna tell you this one.
Sorry, I tend to have that effect on people, but I'm serious. People need to know more about this. I think it may happen. I'm telling you, maids, that would explain so much.
Earth to lose gravity for 7 seconds in August.
Yeah.
Not this August, right?
Yes,
Let's watch.
this August. This August.
Viral social media post claim Earth's gravity will collapse for 7 seconds on August 12th, 2026. I'm reading the subtitles.
Is that you?
Yeah, the videos allege that NASA has been preparing for a gravity glitch for years.
I hope it's been debunked, but I will say
Yeah,
all the
I don't think it's going to happen. It
anti-gravity-
sounds a lot like 2012 stuff.
all the anti-gravity damn scientists that
You
are
guys,
missing
it better not, Chase.
Yeah. I mean, think about losing gravity has its ups and downs.
What's the most powerful wing of the U.S. military?
Buck, don't make me believe it's more real than I already think. Come on, stop it.
Did someone say the correct answer?
Did I say Air Force? I don't know. What's the correct answer?
You're close. It's a little higher than that.
Space Force.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Space
Trump's
Force.
baby. That is the premier. It used to be NASA. NASA isn't a space agency to launch chemical rockets into the stratosphere. NASA was the premier intelligence agency because most of the intelligence conducted nowadays is done through satellite. So if you look at all the concentration of power and capability, it's all in Space Force now. So, I mean, maybe you're onto something there.
I know.
Wait, you talking about the? Okay, so now that we brought this up, did you guys hear about Amy Eskridge and what Michael Salla said? And Michael Salla, if you don't know who he is, he's been on.
Yeah, we played it
Redacted.
in the last space, I think.
Oh shucks. Okay, never mind.
Didn't we?
I don't know. I don't think
Something
so.
about her not really being a scientist?
No, that's
No, that
not
she's
it.
alive and in hiding.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
at
right.
a secret base.
That thing grips.
That's.
I said it once, I'll say it again. You know it does.
I'll show you a directed energy weapon.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so by the way, not a lot of people are talking about this, but I'm obsessed with the IMEC corridor. The Eastern Mediterranean Gateway Act is officially going to be voted on at some point. The core purpose is to formally support the Eastern Mediterranean countries, Egypt, Greece, Cyprus, and Israel, as a strategic gateway in the India, Middle East, Europe economics corridor, the IMEC corridor, which is designed to compete with the Belt and Road Initiative. It elevates the region in U.S. foreign policy for energy security, defense cooperation, infrastructure, and connectivity. Introduced in the House May 8th of last year. Introduced in the Senate April 29th of this year by Senator Cory Booker with Republican from Pennsylvania, Senator Dave McCormick. The status as of June, so H.R. 3307 advanced out of the House Foreign Affairs Committee on January 21st or 22nd of 26 by a strong 45-2 vote, opposed just by Joaquin Castro and Pramila Jayapal. Still awaiting full House floor vote, 29 co-sponsors. The IMEC launched 2023 at G20 as a U.S. G7-backed alternative to China's Belt and Road Initiative. The strategic importance of the Eastern Mediterranean for energy projects. Obviously, it's competing with the Belt and Road Initiative. It's a trade route that goes through the port of Haifa in Israel. U.S. role in the 3+1 framework, U.S., Greece, Israel, and Cyprus. Key partners, Cyprus, Greece, Egypt, Israel. Defense cooperation with Cyprus. So I just think it's very interesting that we have legislation quietly passing in support of the IMEC corridor in conjunction with this conflict with Iran, in conjunction with this piece of the NDAA Section 224, intertwining Israeli military intelligence with the intelligence of the United States. I think it's all about the IMEC corridor and protecting the dollar.
Well, in conjunction with the TRIPS, which is going to be paid for through the Board of Peace, which is building a trade route through Azerbaijan and Armenia. This is just, and in addition to that, don't forget about Pax Silica, where United States has a 99-year lease over there in Dimona. I think it's all definitely related. So, and you know why they're passing the legislation? I think it's because the United States is going to get equity stake using this new development finance arm that Trump established during his first term under the BUILD Act. They took the Development Credit Authority, combined it with the Overseas International Investment Corp or something like that. Anyway, it's a private investment corporation, and they enhanced it by allowing them to get equity stake wherever they build. So anyway.
Who's we? When's my check coming in the mail?
Let's watch this short 1-minute clip of Bibi talking about the new Middle East. This is, I think, from G7 in 2023, but I could be wrong. Let's watch.
A few years ago, I stood here with a red marker to show the curse, a great curse, the curse of a nuclear Iran. But today I bring this marker to show a great blessing.
Just a minute left.
The blessing of a new Middle East between Israel, Saudi Arabia, and our other neighbors. We will not only bring down barriers between Israel and our neighbors, we'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe. This is an extraordinary change, a monumental change, another pivot of history. But I also believe that we must not give the Palestinians a veto over new peace treaties with Arab states. Sanctions must be snapped back. And above all, Iran must face a credible nuclear threat.
So this was all planned. This whole conflict was planned years ago. That was G7 2023, I believe. And this IMEC corridor is all about competing with China's monopoly on trade through the Belt and Road Initiative. And he's saying that right there. We can't allow the Palestinians to have a veto vote. Iran has to face a nuclear threat. This is from 3 years ago. This war with Iran has been planned the entire time, and it's all about establishing the IMEC corridor in such a way that it cannot be threatened, intimidated, mitigated, or reduced by any terrorist activity whatsoever. So they're wiping out the West Bank, they're wiping out Gaza, so that the terrorists in those regions or the radicals in those regions can't attack the port of Haifa, right? Which is where the IMEC corridor goes through to ship goods straight into Europe. And they're simultaneously attacking Iran right now with the United States so that Iran can't interfere with the development of this IMEC corridor. All this is happening while legislation that merges Israeli and U.S. military into one kind of cohesive intelligence apparatus, and simultaneously more legislation being passed with 42-2 votes to support the IMEC corridor. I mean, all of the evidence shows that this whole entire conflict in the Middle East is about keeping the dollar the global reserve currency. Israel stands to make a lot of money. the genocide isn't about a response to October 7th. Frankly, I think that the Biden administration agreed to leave weapons and supplies behind in Afghanistan on purpose in order to catalyze the attack on October 7th, which we know there was a stand down for, to justify the genocide that took place in Gaza in order to ensure that this route would not be interfered with in the future by anyone within those regions. And we're going to see now to a new trail of tears from Gaza, even from Iran, into surrounding Middle Eastern countries as well. I think Libya is very likely. I think we'll probably unfreeze some assets in Libya. Libya will absorb many of them. Hopefully not the United States of America, but this is all because our dollar is a lie, and we have to protect the Ponzi scheme that is the U.S. dollar with
Well,
blood.
they're building this buffer with Lebanon, and I think that that's related. And it's like this. To be honest with you, this is like the hill I would die on. I do not want to merge anything with this rogue state. Like I don't know if you guys understand the danger that is. I mean, if it's not already done, I should say. I feel like right now maybe it's just being revealed. But this is. I mean, how do you feel about this? Like. Are you? What's your? Does this scream danger to you at all? Are you worried about it?
Yeah.
Well, I want to interject here. Number one, Maze, you're gonna give me my flowers and my respect when it comes out.
Okay.
All these countries have nuclear weapons and have been playing the long game. And number two, Chase, these plans are great. Cool. You're gonna get your cool little Middle Eastern super trade route. Until you don't, because Turkey is the wild card here. They are BRICS aligned. They have nuclear weapons. They are very advanced, capable military. And if Iran falls, Turkey is going to enter the war. And this IMEC corridor is never going to be built because you can only build infrastructure like that during peacetime. So this whole great plan to build the IMEC corridor and to keep the petrodollar alive and to make Israel a supranation, essentially a superpower, not even just a superpower, but bigger than all the superpowers, it's never going to come to fruition. It's just not going to happen because people are playing double games here, and Turkey's the main player here. And you're probably going to see Saudi Arabia turn on Israel also once it finds out that U.S. security guarantees mean nothing.
No, Saudi Arabia is like, man, I'll just tell you, this is my opinion right now. All of those surrounding Arab nations that were supposedly not going to normalize with Israel have pretty much normalized, all but signed the dotted line, which is why I'm, like I don't see them turning. I don't know. I will say that Erdogan has been more critical, but you don't really, I think that there's just a narrative brewing. I could be wrong. But the last, why is it that what are they going to do with Palestinians? I feel like that there's did you guys see the massive amounts of natural gas and gas that they found underneath Gaza, by the way? That's a whole nother thing that, I don't know, man. It's just ridiculous. I feel like this is I don't know. I don't think that America should we don't want to be a part of that shit. I don't know. I don't. I think it's fucked up.
The only thing I want to merge with Israel is my bank account with them.
Why? They're the ones that are leeching. Well,
they got way more than me right now.
Because they took it from you. That's why. They've sucked America dry. Prove me wrong. If you guys understood the massive amounts of money that they taken over, not people throw up this 3.8 billion, but when you look at the state level and local level and all of the appropriations, and that their military must be ahead of everyone else in that region. They were something that they signed. I think we talked about that before.
Guys, we're gonna see super soldiers. I'm gonna see the Reddit stories come true with fucking Umbrella Corporation. We're gonna see fucking zombies. We're going to see super soldiers. And I told you, you're going to give me my flowers too, Chase, when it comes out that there are giants under Palestine.
Of course there are.
When I
exactly.
have a chance.
There's, that six-finger banner doesn't mean nothing. They're not that retarded. Oh, that was a retarded graphics designer.
Oh, my God. We're talking about the fucking AI banner again?
That was not AI. They're not that dumb, dude.
All right, let's just agree to disagree, and when I get proven wrong, I'll buy you flowers. No problem.
You should have bought me flowers.
What kind of flowers do you like, Bak?
He seems like a peonies guy.
I don't know. I quit smoking weed. That was the only flowers I really like. But anyways, I didn't mean to divert from the conversation.
I want Kev Posobiec to speak. I invited him to speak. I wish he would accept. I know he's probably in a loud room with screaming children or something, but I see him in the space. Good to see you, Kev. Haven't seen you since backstage Turning Point action in, golly, Detroit. That was when I saw Kev Posobiec last. I hope your brother Jack's doing well, dude. Good to have you in the space. Please share everybody, too, the space as well, so we can get more people in here. We're going to go for another 55 minutes or so. Is that cool with you, Bak?
Yeah.
You got another hour in you? And we'll be taking speakers. But I think we've nailed the news.
Well, there's one thing we haven't nailed. What the fuck's up with those sonic booms, baby? Clip 115 sonic booms, baby.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can play it. Play 115.
This one's in Boston.
There were reports of this in Washington, D.C. Last week, too. For those of you listening, you're hearing a sonic boom over and over again. And for those of you watching, we are looking at a car in a driveway with a tarp over it. What do you think? Oh.
This one's in Franklin, Massachusetts.
I think they're building underground stuff.
This one's in North Carolina.
Do you think they're like breaking up?
Did you
like
hear it, Maze?
Well, I heard one a few years ago, and it's unlike anything else I've ever heard. It's crazy.
Sky whales.
This one's in also North Carolina.
All within the last month?
This was very recent, like within the last week, bro.
How would you in North Carolina?
Is that a chicken?
No, those were cats and dogs.
What's up, Kev? How are you doing, buddy?
Yo, Chase. Hey, man. I didn't know you would see me in here. I just got in from the gym here. Congrats on the new gig, man.
I appreciate it, man. How's your family doing? How's your brother?
You know, I haven't seen him recently. I mean, he's doing great. You know, given all the circumstances. Got the nephews in baseball. It's baseball season up. You know, in this white boy summer that we call.
You guys and your fucking white boy summers.
Yeah, what's it called? I was trying to get up. I haven't been following the news here, but that's why I jumped on the space, the Section 224 stuff. I'm like kind of retarded with all that, but I was focusing on the ICE protests up in Newark. A bunch of my guys are up there. A bunch of my buddies are on the ground reporting on that. But yeah, thanks for asking me to speak, man. I don't know if I'm not really caught up on all of it.
No, that's okay. You don't have to be an expert. I just invited you to speak because I like you, dude. No pressure.
Oh, gotcha. Well, as far as I was reading, so they proposed it on last week, and then it's getting voted on in a couple days.
Apparently. So based on the research that I've done, and we covered it heavily in the first hour, but for the sake of those who have joined since the first hour, which is probably most people, this piece of legislation, which seems to be overwhelmingly supported, requires the Secretary of Defense to appoint an executive agent, a single official to coordinate military cooperation between the United States and Israel. It covers joint research and development, shared production of weapons, and the linking of military systems and data. It spans multiple domains of warfare, including biotechnology, autonomous systems, AI, and cyber warfare, extending existing joint work like Iron Dome into many more areas. It marks a shift from a relationship centered largely on U.S. military aid toward one where the two countries' defense industries are more deeply intertwined. And there's more that I got here. Authorizes the Secretary of Defense to establish one or more AI research institutes focused on national security and defense. Requires each institute to address foundational or cross-cutting AI challenges relevant to defense, and directs institutes to form partnerships across federal agencies, academia, nonprofits, state and local governments, and industry with a focus on R&D and AI workforce development. So these partnerships between the United States and Israel. So a lot of people are accusing or criticizing this piece of legislation as further intertwining the U.S. military with Israel's military. Kev.
Right. Yeah, I caught some of Alex Jones earlier. I was trying to listen at the gym. It's a hot topic. You know what I mean? My 2 cents on it, as much as I know, is, it doesn't sound like good timing. Aren't we trying to have a ceasefire orchestrated here? And we've been trying to do that for over a month. Like, why is it? It's an interesting timing. Like, why does this have to happen right now? It's in general, I've kind of taken the position, like, why do we have to have any foreign aid? It's it's a shame to see, really, like, we're struggling just to make ends meet and whatnot, but it's like, how about we end all foreign aid? That's kind of on my horizon right now. I think Rand Paul has taken that position. But yeah, it's like, okay, it's just, I get concerned, Chase, because it's okay to criticize China or Russia or Ukraine, whatever, but it's a very sensitive subject, talking about Israel and Judaism and all, because people tie it into, like, religion, and
Right.
so that's where it gets really sensitive for people. So. And this is the same approach I'm taking to illegal immigration and remigration. It's like, hey, guys, like, we're not racist or anti-Semitic. This is like, how about we look at it from a purely economical angle here? It's like,
Yeah, when you criticize the illegals that are in the United States of America, nobody accuses you of being anti-Catholic. But if you criticize our relationship with Israel, there's obviously a tendency to be accused of being anti-Semitic.
absolutely. And hey, like, what they say is, these in Newark, for instance, what I've been following is, they said a lot of the detainees in Delaney Hall have been like, they haven't been fed, or they're facing quote unquote inhumane treatment or whatnot, and there's no evidence of it. I haven't seen any footage come out. No data, no official statements from New Jersey police or ICE, anything to that effect. Like, where do these people get this information? But anyway, it's like, well, I'm sure it's not like Guantanamo Bay. These people, like, I would, to be fair, I would say, like, it's these people aren't terrorists. Okay, they're just illegal immigrants coming over the border. Some of them may be, some of them may have extensive rap sheets, but we don't really know that because other countries don't really do a good job of covering their own criminal background checks like America does.
Sure.
So my point is, it's like, well, what about what these people do to the American taxpayer? And why do we have to pay for that? It's like, no, dude. It's like, I'm not racist against Mexicans or Guatemalans or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, I could get with, like, if they're being. I just don't even believe it, really. I don't think they're being mistreated in there. Like, the way the left says they are. It's like, they're saying it's a concentration camp, first off. So it's like, okay, so that does make sense.
Well, if it was a concentration camp, then we'd have a railroad in California.
That's right. Huh? That's right.
It's Gavin Newsom has been trying to build that high-speed rail in California for like 20 years, but all the money gets stolen. And if we had concentration camps, we'd have roads and bridges and trains.
Did you know that New Jersey is known as the armpit of America?
Yeah, I'm from Philly, so yeah, I grew up right next to it.
Do you concur, Kev? Is it really the armpit of America?
I don't think so. No, there's probably worse. Philly's terrible, but New Jersey is the Garden State. There's actually a lot of good farming, which is probably being jeopardized by, solar panels and data centers now. Anyway, though, the point I wanted to make is like, what about all this funding, like we're giving different countries, Israel, Ukraine included, all this funding we're giving to illegal immigrants and anybody else that wants to exploit the welfare system or refugee status, migrant status. Like, what about the Americans? What about us who've been here the whole time? You're talking about, oh, this guy missed a meal inside Delaney Hall. Oh my goodness, like he's not even supposed to freaking be here in the first place. What about the Americans? What about us who have to pay for you guys anyway? That's what I'm not seeing. And second point is, well, I know this isn't the space about the ICE stuff, but I've been wanting to see more of a narrative about like drug use amongst protesters and Antifa and stuff, because it looks like a lot of these people are just like on drugs, whatnot, like just going crazy out there. And
They're on drugs. They're paid to be there.
Yeah, paid to be there. And reports are coming out because there was a mass arrest last night that a certain percentage of these people like weren't even like, they're actually illegal immigrants themselves. The protesters, they're not even American citizens. So I don't know if they're getting paid or not, but it's like, my goodness. But it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, if they're protesting illegal immigrants, you'd have illegal immigrants out there protesting to get them out. So it's just crazy, man.
Why do you suppose it is that we haven't had the mass deportations that we'd hoped for?
They're about to naturalize them.
Well, I mean, in general, the main topic is cheap labor, right? It's like we need these guys because, they're the best construction workers in the world and they're the best farmers in the world. It's kind of like conservative Republicans' dirty little secret, I guess, is like they, once you get a large business going, it's like a construction company or a farm, it's nice to have cheap labor and just pay these people under the table. So that's probably a certain percentage of it.
I think it's a little darker than that. If you look at the geopolitics, we're entering headlong into World War III. I'm sure this NDAA has draft provisions in it. They're getting ready to use these people as cannon fodder, bro. That's my opinion.
Could be. That's beyond me. I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, to participate in a draft, you have to first be naturalized. And Trump's already made multiple statements waffling on his deportation pledges. And it's going to start with the Dreamers, which they've pretty much already done. And then they're going to naturalize something like 20 to 30 million people here as long as they agree to enter into the draft lottery. That's my opinion. I don't have much evidence going on that, but I see the groundwork being laid. It's way more than picking strawberries and framing houses, bro. That's.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it would have to be a draft, though. It would have to be a draft because none of these people want to assimilate. That's like you see. So here a small analogy is like I put on my windshield a little American flag because I won't name the certain country, but if you drive around, sometimes you'll see people repping their country's flag like on their windshield. It's like,
Israel.
bro, like, any of them, just throw any of them out there. But it's like, man, I couldn't imagine these people. If you're repping any other country, it's like, why would you want to fight for America in the first place? So it'd have to be a draft.
So to support what you were saying, Bak, in the NDAA legislation, we've been focusing on 224, but there is Section 535. Selective Service System Automatic Registration. So what it does, starting December of 2026, the Selective Service System will automatically register men ages 18 to 25 or up to 26 in some references using existing federal databases like Social Security, IRS, immigration records. It shifts the burden from individuals self-registering to government-driven enrollment. So you remember when you turned 18, you had to register for the draft. I remember my U.S. history teacher had me do it at her desk. The government will notify registered individuals and allow corrections or exemptions for certain medical conditions or non-immigrant visas. And the purpose, of course, is to improve compliance rates amid declining voluntary registration and military recruiting challenges. It does not activate the draft, but it does automate the registration for the draft for everybody aged 18 to 25. So you're right.
That border wasn't sealed to keep people out. It was sealed to keep us in.
What do you guys think about, like, with Cuba though? Like, if we have so many Cubans coming, like, I would kind of be in support of that if they got drafted. Like, have a Cuban contingency go free Cuba.
Oh, they're gonna get it. They can't stop us. They're too close to our shores. So Russia and China can't save Cuba. We already have military installations like Guantanamo Bay. We already have spy infrastructure set up on the island. So yeah, it's like, hey, welcome to the draft. You made it, guys. Come on down.
Well, I'm just saying, them in particular, it seems they are very pro-America, and they would want to free Cuba from communism.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Bay of Pigs was that we didn't try twice.
Cuba, cigars, it's ours.
Man, that dude sounds like he's talking to his phone from the other room.
It's my speaker right here. Is it not working?
It works, but man, you sound like you're far away.
You might want to leave and then try to rejoin.
That's better. Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot better, Daddy.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. Thank you. You know what there is? At the little mic, there's an arrow up, and you have to push it, and you can select which microphone.
Nice.
And what I didn't remember is every time you go in and out, because it kicks you out and you come back in, you have to redo the microphone.
Right now, the NSA is like, thank God he switched the microphone because we had a hard time picking up what he was saying.
That was good. That was good. Thank you. No, this whole thing is really bad.
100%.
Bad.
What do you think, Bacchus? Do we have anything else we should cover?
Well, I wanted to get into one more thing on the last clip we played when we had the sonic booms. There's some people are saying it's like meteors. I had a theory that it's the space warfare going on with satellites in near orbit being downed left and right, because I don't think it's just America that these booms are being heard. But my new theory that I'm thinking of is, does anyone recall the YouTube clips of the horn sounds blowing in the sky over like the last 15 fucking years? Because maybe this is like a judgment seal. Can we get a horn sound clip in here?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find something. Strange clouds and trumpet or horn sounds coming from the sky. This is 21 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that noise? Sounds like trumpet noises. Damn.
Sounds like drones.
No, but this is all over the world. Could we play one more? Like the loggers in Canada?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Probably Jesus coming back.
Dude, it's the judgment seals. That's why I brought up the giants. Got to bring up the biblical angle.
When did you bring up giants?
Oh, he won't stop talking about them.
I'll never stop.
The fucking.
I mean, we talked about them in
these
different
sonic
ways,
booms. I'll tell you what the sonic booms are not. The sonic booms are not meteors.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
No, it's not, because here's why. First off, you've got these multiple sonic booms. And meteors, if there's a meteor that comes through, you're going to find remnants of that. There's actually a rock that hits. Some sort, it could be small, medium, large, but there's something. It doesn't just come through, boom, and then it's just a boom. So when you see people, there was one of Alex Jones's guys, too, that came right out with a 2 minutes, meteor. And then, meteor. No, it's not a meteor. Amongst the many that are flying around out there. Yeah, there is. And if meteor hits, you know it, and more people see it, and there's an actual remnant of it. So don't buy into that. So what these sonic booms are, who knows what they are?
I think they're breaking
be
up ground.
Well,
so
there can be
their bunkers.
quarries too. Quarries are active now. I don't know, but quarries do have dynamite going off. So if you live by a quarry, it could be a quarry.
But a sonic boom has a very distinct signature.
Those things
It
should
sounds
be easy
different
to
from
smack,
TNT.
though.
When I lived on campus in college, they were building a lot of buildings on campus, and they were dynamiting the ground so they could build the parking garages under the buildings. I heard dynamite 2-3 times a day for like a year or two. And it sounds completely different than a sonic boom. There's a very distinct sonic boom sound that's different than just a standard TNT explosion.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
think of how many strange
True.
things have happened over. Remember the aliens at the Miami Bay Mall? People just gloss all over that.
Yes.
Exactly. And we have congressmen and women talking about obviously rolling out UFO disclosure. We got freaking trumpet horn sounds for like the last 10 years. We got freaking sonic booms all over the place. We got banners that Hamas has with 6 fingers rolled up into a fist.
We got boomers coming out to vote in record numbers in primaries in Kentucky.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So we're just living. It's going to get stranger and stranger. And I'm going to get a lot of flowers from you motherfuckers.
Here's
all I know.
strange trumpet noises in the sky in Sydney,
Bak, I've
Australia.
always believed in you. What do you mean?
Hey guys, come here. Andrew, Josh, do you hear that? Come here.
What's that?
Can you hear
You
that
hear that?
noise? It's coming from the sky.
You sure, Dad?
That's Sydney, Australia. This is from 2012. This next one's from 2012 in Canada. This one here is from northwestern Ontario. There's your Sasquatch.
That
I
ain't
was
no
gonna say
squatch.
that's exactly what it sounds like.
That's bigger
Dude,
than a
it reminds
squatch.
me. It reminds me of Nope. It's the fucking fake alien.
Yeah. I don't know
Nope,
what the
it's
fuck's
fine,
going
it's
on.
fine. It's
Well,
just digesting.
Is it a
Or
coincidence the
the oil.
Euphrates River is drying up too right now?
And the Tigris and Euphrates River, famously known for the Fertile Crescent. It's shaped like a crescent moon between both rivers, likely the original geographic location of the Garden of Eden.
I've always thought the same thing. And what happens when the Euphrates dries up? The armies of Gog and Magog go through the riverbed and they use it as an access road and march on Israel. And that's why you're not going to get the IMEC corridor.
When the Euphrates dries up, it's the Tigris and Euphrates.
Yeah. And there's supposedly things chained up. The Watchers. So you got to all put this into your compass.
Are they
It's
chained up
so-
under the water? I'm confused.
Yeah.
No, you've never heard those. We've listened to those before, I swear, AJ. Like,
No, we
we're-
have. I'm just being an ass.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that it's a coincidence that all these things are happening at the same time. Remember, we'll see. I'm going to definitely butcher Jesus's words here. But we're going to see weird things in the sky, signs and
I was
stars.
gonna say, are you quoting the Bible?
I'm quoting Jesus, but pretty badly. But we're going to see weird stuff in the sky. We're going to hear weird stuff in the sky. We're going to see the Euphrates run dry.
You know, maybe I can find a clip
rhymed.
of a
Thank you.
summary.
I was gonna say.
Can we play
Snaps
the
for
Euphrates
rhyming.
drying up?
The end of the world, according to the Bible. This is 3 minutes. Let's listen, see if it's any good. How the world will end.
Joel, chapter 2, verses 30 to 31. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke.
All right. Wonderful.
The sun shall be turned into darkness,
Bill Gates, blackening out the sun.
Even poor people.
and the moon into blood.
Blood moon last weekend.
We've had a ton of blood moon cycles recently.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened.
Bill Gates, dude. Fucking asshole.
The moon will not give its light.
Well, if the sun's darkened and the moon doesn't give any light, that means the sky is scorched.
The stars will fall from heaven.
Meteor sonic booms.
And the powers of the heavens will be shaken.
The powers of the heavens will be shaken.
Chapter 21.
All right, that's enough of that.
Space Force.
We get it. Everything's going to be fucking scary.
Yeah, it's biblical times. And he says, giants will come to fulfill my wrath.
Asians will come and they'll do math.
And you'll all go into the draft.
Vivek Ramaswamy will take a bath.
All right.
We saw that happen, bro.
Yeah.
You all will make Lune laugh.
Well, that was good.
Thank you.
Well, shit. Anything else we need to cover, Bacchus, or should we cut it short?
Did you guys hear that clip of the people, there was Christians that they took down to the Knesset that were all begging for forgiveness?
Oh, I had that. Yeah, we played that earlier.
Stop it,
Dang, I
Maze.
could just start getting here on time. I was waiting
Are
for
those
you
the
guys.
guys that wash their robes and
I saw it.
gosh,
It's absolutely
that's
disgusting. Like I thought the most pathetic display was when you had some white people freaking praying to black people for forgiveness during George Floyd, but this is
during the
100 times
BLM
worse.
thing.
This is 100 times worse because this is freaking leaders groveling to a freaking people committing genocide, saying, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't support your genocide hard enough." Oy vey. Like, this is absolutely disgusting. Anyone who freaking bent the knee there, they're all gonna freaking go to hell, right, with all the members of the Knesset.
They even put a Chinese lady and a Korean lady up there.
Yeah, she said for North and South both.
Yeah, he's like,
But I think I always try to figure out why. Like, what would be the reason for that? Because they're trying to display something, And I just thought it was really interesting that none of them who are Christians, they all kept referring to the God of Israel. Like, they didn't say Jesus Christ too. And I was like, wow. They had to be coached on that, right? Like,
Yeah,
they
you're
didn't just
right.
all-
It's external
Is the God of
pressure.
Israel
You're
different
exactly
than
right.
the God of
Somebody
the
made
Bible?
them do that.
Yeah, because they didn't want to offend them. Anyway, I just wasn't sure if you guys talked about that.
well, right there, Persia versus the new Rome, baby. And out of that, you get Israel, supra-nation, supra-power.
I'm not even mad at Israel. I understand why Israel's doing what Israel does. What bothers me is that our own politicians just so eagerly sell us out.
And which is why I think we have I don't think people understand the implications about this bill. I haven't really just when you look at how the provision wires our war machines together at a supply chain level, it's it's going to create a dependency in which we can't moonwalk from. Like, you can't, it's like a marriage, right? Like, we can't, with no option of divorce. And that's the problem. Like, at some point, if we ever wanted to, let's just say, part ways or not get involved in whatever it is that Israel decides to do, we can't necessarily have that type of I don't know, we can't just separate ourselves from it. And I just think that that's ultimately the problem. And if we tried to, it would break potentially our own systems. And then it also gives them unfettered access. Even there's one very centralized role that's being created out of this. And that centralized role is going to determine where these happen, but it's across all of the critical across every critical domain, like AI, quantum, cyber, autonomous systems, directed energy, like everything. It's just crazy. And I that's what I worry about, is that it is going to force their tech into America's critical supply chains.
Agreed. Especially since we know that when what they did with the pagers was directly correlated to their control of the entire supply chain of that technology. That was how they were able to install.
To make your point, Buck, those were a nice little back-to-back. I see what you did there.
Thank you. I got a $250 red Volvo for you.
All right. For those of you listening, please check out chasegeiser.com. You can sign up, or you can sign up for free or be a founding member as well to get access to the community there. Bach is going to be managing the community back end. Most of the time, I'll be back there as well. But please, the main ask is that you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Chase Geiser Network on YouTube. The link is in my bio on X at Real Chase Geiser, and you can also get to it from the homepage of chasegeiser.com. We are very close to being monetized on YouTube. We just need about 1,000 more watch hours cumulatively. We've gotten over 3,000 in the last couple of weeks alone, so we're anticipating being there very, very quickly. But please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Watch through some of those videos so that the algorithm sees that people actually watch our content, and that'll help us increase our reach.
But even more important, please sign up to chasegeiser.com, either as a founding member or for free. Pretty soon, we're going to throw up some feet pics up there for you guys, and I haven't built out much stuff for it yet because we're waiting for more traffic. But let's be honest, this YouTube stream's probably not going to last long.
I think we'll make it last if you quit doing the Heil Hitler.
Haven't done that in like freaking 3 episodes, dude.
Dude, it's all you do.
But you have to. We cover controversial topics here. I don't see another stream like this. You think that if this ever started gaining traction, that they're just gonna let it freaking? I almost dropped another M-bomb. Do you think they're gonna let us live, bro?
All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Love you guys. Till next time.
Great stream.